This is Gene DeLisio with a featured sports interview from WDLB and WOSQ. Well, 2017, quite a year for Loyal High School sports standout Morgan Reinwand, as Morgan helped the Loyal High School girls basketball team win the WIAA Division V state championship and also was named a WIAA Scholar-Athlete for the 2016-2017 school year.
Yeah, thank you. It's probably been one of the most exciting years of my high school career, actually.
And certainly has panned out very, very well. Let's talk about these accolades you received. First of all, the WIAA Scholar-Athlete Award. Tell us about this and your feelings about receiving this honor.
Well, I'm the first recipient from Loyal to actually get it, and it just is good to know that all your hard work and dedication to not only sports but academics really pays off and that it gets noticed by other people.
I understand that there are some applications, some essays that you have to write to earn the Scholar-Athlete Award. Tell us about that process for you.
Well, a big part for me, for my essays, was about growing up in a small town. I mean, a lot of people assume you don't have many opportunities because it's so little, but for me, I think growing up in a smaller town gives you a lot more for the basic fact that you have your own chance to go out and do your own thing instead of having other people do it for you.
Mm-hmm. And that was a big part of your education. How about your essay? What did you write there about the essay? Was that part of the essay that you wrote?
Yeah, it was. I wrote about how this BFS program, which is a bigger, faster, stronger program here at Loyal, has really helped me become a faster athlete, a more motivated athlete, and has really pushed me to become sufficient in doing drills and pushing my teammates to do better. And also, I wrote about how my number one goal ever since I was little was to be valedictorian in my class, and I found out last quarter that I did that as well. So this year has just been full of great news with the state basketball tournament and valedictorian and now the Scholar-Athlete.
Morgan, can you talk about some of the teachers here at Loyal, not necessarily coaches, although there could be some coaches as well, but some teachers who have been really big influences on you?
Well, I really appreciate my math teacher, Mrs. Chokas. She has just brought fun and entertainment to the classrooms, but she also just can be there for like friendly stuff. And also my English teacher, Mrs. Pop, she's one of those outgoing teachers who just really knows what the kids can and cannot handle. And my coaches are just remarkable because they just know your strengths and weaknesses as a player, and they push you to get better at everything that you do. And because of that, that's why we've been so successful these past couple of years.
Tell us, if you would, about that mix between academics and athletics. How have you balanced that and what that's meant to you?
It's been a struggle some days more than others to balance doing your homework and getting all your practices in, because when I get home, sometimes it's 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock, depending on games and stuff, but it's really taught me how to time management and just how to get everything done on a daily basis without having to postpone stuff. And honestly, I think it's going to prepare me well for the future to get me ready for when I have college and other stuff that I need to do.
How do you feel that athletics has helped you academically, or maybe vice versa, how the academic world has helped you in your sports career?
Well, along with academics comes the ability to actually put forward some effort, and that's the same with sports. And if you want to be successful in those, you have to know how much effort you need to put in. And to me, I think it comes down to how much dedication you have and how much you're willing to push yourself to be able to exceed in everything. And so going from academics to athletics, you really learn to know, because in athletics you need to have a good GPA in order to play, and for me that's a big priority. And last year we were named 3rd in state for having our academics in basketball, which was a lot too.
Why was that goal of being a valedictorian so important to you for so many years?
Well, I just wanted to prove that my hard work has paid off and that I actually could achieve things that people never really thought were achievable at that point in time. And I just wanted to make my mom and my whole family proud, and they are unbelievably proud of how much I've accomplished this year.
I want to ask about the leadership role that you have and how this carries over academically as well, because, of course, you won the state championship in basketball with only 2 seniors on the roster. You were one of those. So I'm sure that leadership became an important part of your basketball season, but how did that translate over to academics as well?
I've always been the type of person that's wanted people to be able to look up to me or come to me whenever they need help, not only in sports, but in academics as well. And now, while people see how much you can actually achieve if you put your mind to something, I hope they can come to me and be like, what did you do so that way you became so successful in not only your sports life, but actual in your real life with academics and how far you've actually come.
Well, of course, you had a great basketball season, winning the state championship. What did that mean to you to win that state title?
The words are just, I don't even know what to say yet, and it's been over a month. I will never forget that moment ever. It's just been an incredible journey with basketball and everything. I would go back and play again if I could.
And what a great ride you had here in basketball at Loyal High School. And the last several years during your career, this program got progressively better and better and better. We took further and further steps. Did you see in the last few years that this was an attainable goal?
We've always thought, ever since our freshman year, we knew we were going to become better and better as the years went on. And for these last 2 or 3 years, we really wanted to get to state, but we kept getting pushed back by Assumption year after year. Well, this year they lost a lot of their key senior players, and we knew if we wanted to, Carson and I knew if we wanted to make this attainable, we had to go out and do it. And this year we got past Newman, which is a big game for us, and then we got past Green Bay New Lutheran, which was a big game, and Tri-County, and it's just been incredible.
Speaking of mentorship, how much of a mentor, maybe indirectly, but how much of a mentor was the Assumption program to you in terms of looking at them and seeing how they do things and saying, hey, if we want to get to that level, here's some things we have to do in our program?
Well, they were an unbelievably good team for a long time, but we knew if we wanted to be able to beat a team, we had to play the best teams. So we made our schedules very difficult this year with non-conference games, and we had a lot of girls go to that BFS program again to improve our skills, and on Tuesday nights we'd come up to the gym and shoot for a little bit and just work on the skills that needed to be corrected. And as time went on, we started seeing a lot of improvement with our younger players, and it just took off from there.
And, of course, you and Carson, the only seniors on this team. Talk about your roles as the older players and mentoring these young players.
Well, when young players come on the floor, they're a little nervous at first because they haven't had the experience like we have. But you just have to keep calm and just, help them through it and make sure that they know that it's all right, everyone makes mistakes, you can do it. And then they just do the same for us now as the year went on. They're like, you're fine, you got this, And it was just a team effort this year.
Speaking of the younger players, now you may not take a lot of credit for this, but you certainly were vastly aided by having a freshman point guard. Remy Geiger comes out, does a great job for you. Talk about her development and the role that the older players had in getting her to that level.
As many people would say, she came out playing like she was an 8th grader. She was not very comfortable with the ball at that point in time, but Carson and I tried taking some pressure off of her by doing the press breaker ourselves, and so that gave her a little time to relax and cool down. But she did an unbelievable job at point guard this year. She handled the pressure remarkably well for someone so young in the running this year. But she has probably been one of the best freshman players that I've ever worked with because she has the mentality of never giving up, and when she makes mistakes, she's like, oh, that was my fault, and she goes and just works to get better at it.
And what a great job it was for you guys to win the state championship. Tell us about that state tournament experience.
Well, you get down in the gym on Thursday, and you just look, and there's so many people in that crowd, and it's just takes your breath away because you don't know what's going to happen because this is your first time down there. And then you get on the floor, and your heart starts beating faster and faster, but then when the buzzer rings, it's just like a normal game, and you just went out and played. And then going into the championship game, it was something I will never forget because I have no words. I don't know. It was just unbelievable.
How about that run you made in the second half to come back and win that ball game?
Being down by 13 with 10 minutes left in the game, I'm not going to lie, I was getting a little nervous, but as we started cutting into the lead a little by little, we could tell Milwaukee was starting to get a little frustrated and flustered. And we knew if we kept going and playing our own game that we'd be fine. Because honestly, we've been down a lot throughout the season by 2 at halftime like we were in both of those games. And we just came back firing in the second half because we're a second half team. We come out better.
I want to ask you one final question, Morgan, which might sound a little bit odd, but broadcasting Marshfield as I do most nights, Marshfield girls this year had 2 seniors. And probably 10 years ago when they began playing, there were about 40 or 50 girls in that grade playing basketball. Now 2 are left. This is a smaller school. Probably you didn't start with 40 or 50, but you probably began with more than 2, and you wind up with 2. So what is the feeling between you and Carson as being the survivors, the ones who stuck it out all those years, and now stayed there as seniors, and now you reap the rewards of a state championship?
Yeah, there wasn't 40 or 30 of us, but there was a good 12 players, or 12 or 13 players in 5th grade, and as the years went on, it started dwindling down farther and farther until we got to 4, 3, and then this year we only had 2. And it got to the point where Carson and I have always been good at reading where each other was on the court and how they move and where they're going to be. But this year it just was extra special because she's been the one that has pushed me to be better. And I think she probably could say the same about me. We've been competitive all throughout high school. She is actually the salutatorian this year, so it's just been kind of a great thing battling back and forth with her. And just to know that she was on my team and we could just end this together was really important for me.
Loyal High School sports standout Morgan Reinwand, who had quite a year in 2017, helping the Loyal Greyhounds win the WIAA Division V Girls Basketball State Championship and also being named a WIAA Scholar-Athlete for the 2016-2017 school year. This is Gene DeLisio reporting for WDLB WOSQ Sports.